Okay, so in this lesson we're going to look at including some sort of mechanical movement here with the LEDs flashing. Okay, so we can have two separate circuits running off two pins here. Now to create movement we can use a servo. So let's get a servo here. I've got a micro servo here, and you can move this around to how you want it. Okay, and the pins are here. So there's a ground pin. So let's take that up. Plug that into ground. We've got power. Let's plug that into our power, and let's make that red. And finally, we've got a signal pin, and this signal pin we plug into whatever pin we want. Okay, so let's make that green. Okay, so there's our servo connected. Let's get some LEDs, and then we make a little program. Okay, there's our LED. Somebody asked me, what if we ran out of space on the breadboard? And it was because I had pin 1 and pin 2 connected to two separate LEDs. Well, what you got to remember is on the breadboard that when you connect a row here, all this row is live. So what you can do, if I just show you here, let me just move that down. Let's connect this to ground, and let's take this over there for the purpose of this. Let's connect that to ground, and let's make those black. Okay, so we've got live track here. So all I need to do is, if I connect that to there, and I connect that to there, all I need to do is just transfer that across there, and this connects that to that track. Okay, or this one to that one. So these two are now connected to that live track. So, and I like to make these, if they're above, make them red, sort of positive. And you can see that they're just feeding now. They're taking the signal off that one track because that whole track is live. So this is splitting it that way, and then bringing it down through the positive and negative, because these are diodes, they only work one way. So the cathode and anode, the cathode is going to your ground. Okay, so there we go, we've got two separate circuits now. So what we need to do is write a bit of code. Let's get rid of that. So pin 1, pin 2, okay, so let's use inputs again. So let's get button A out. And let's get another button A, but we'll change that to button B. So what do we want to do on button A? Okay, so on button A pressed, let's move that servo. So we're going to rotate the servo on pin 2, don't forget, big mistake I get all the time. Let's rotate it 180 degrees. Okay, what do we want to do then? I selected, imagine you've got some sort of project you want to do where as a point of sale or something you want to do, some automaton, that these balls here are going to move back and forth like he's juggling, okay? And you could have sort of LEDs flashing in the bow tie, okay? That'd be quite an interesting project, excuse me, to get mechanical movement and flashing LEDs in. So what we could do is we move that. Then I suppose we'd have to wait for that to move. Let's wait about 3 seconds. And what do we want to do then? Well, I suppose we could repeat a number of times, let's say 5 times, that we want to turn on digital write pin 1 this time to high. We can do a wait, and we can repeat that. Okay, so that's switch A taken care of. Let's just see if that works. Let's check it. So on button A, and another mistake I get now where pupils run this, what they do is they start the simulation and say, so it's not working. That's because you've got to press button A, because you've coded it that way. Okay, so rotate 180, wait 3 seconds, repeat 5 times, turn that pin on and off. See, I nearly made a mistake. On and off. Okay, so let's see if that part of the circuit works. Okay, start simulation. Let's press button A. Yeah, so the servo rotates, 3 seconds in, and our LEDs did not start. So there's an error somewhere. Let's have a look. Actually, while I'm here, let's change that to blue. Okay, so number 1, pin 1, did I change? Did I change? Pin 1 is correct. Set it to high, wait a second. Pin 1 set to low, wait a second. I don't see anything wrong with that. We repeat it 5 times. On button A press, let's give that a go again. I don't see any errors there. Three seconds and they should start flashing. I see an error. Okay, and the error is with my coding. Sorry, not my coding, my wiring. Can you see what I've done here? I've connected that to the cathode instead of the anode. So what I should have done is brought that here. And it's good that, like I say, I do this and make errors so you can see the errors that you will come up with. Okay, let's have a go at that again. Let's see what happens this time. Let's start the simulation. Off we go. That rotates, hopefully in a couple of seconds. There you go. So now they flash. Okay, and then it stops. And like I said, that would be a great idea for moving these boards that way. They flash. Then if you wanted to reverse it, what could we do? Hopefully you would get the idea by now. What we could do is on a different button, so we could have a different input. Stop that simulation there. And on button B, we could copy that code out of here. And all we would need to do, I suppose, is rotate that the other way. Can we do 180 minus? No, we can't. What about if we set it back to 0? Let's try that. Let's try that for a minute. So on button A, let's see what happens. Like I say, I don't really structure this. I just go along with it so we can find out mistakes. So, okay, let's start that simulation. Let's run that. Okay, so that's tilting down to 180. Then we get the flash. So hopefully now if I set button B, that servo is going to go back the other way. Yes, it does. There you go. And we're going to flash again, okay, 5 times. So you can see for a simple project, a nice little bit of code here for the microcontroller, a nice easy bit of code. You could get that going this way and going that way, okay? And the buttons of the LEDs could be flashing, etc. And there's still pins in here to do, you know, other things. You've got other pins. You can also combine pins. So that could be a nice little project for you. Let's just check the code for that and have a look what's happening. Button A. You can see what I've done there. You can pause the video and have a look. Button B. It's exactly the same, except I've set the servo to come back to the original point. See, 180. You can't put minus 180 in, as I just found out, so I just set it to come back to the original point. And if you want to take a look at the Python syntax, you can have a look at blocks and text, and you can see what the functions are doing. This is just, as I've gone through before, you can see line by line in a logical manner what it's doing. There's your weight. There's your turn pin on, there's your weight, etc. And for indexing range, a for loop. And if you look at my coding videos, you can find out what a for loop is, all on my channel. And that's basically a little for loop that runs that 5 times. And I'll leave that there. And I think that's enough for the microbit. Like I said, they're exactly the same, pretty much as the Arduino. And I'll go into the Arduino next and just show you some input sensors such as an LDR temperature sensor where you can utilize those. And I'll see you in the next video.